I am working here to remove a coupler. It's a Lionel coupler. It's a magnetic coupler. It came originally with my big boy Lionel American Flyer engine. This coupler will not open unless you have Lionel equipment. It really isn't meant to function with American Flyer knuckle couplers, which happen to be this guy right here, which are mechanical. Lionel couplers were always electrically operated. Can't really say which was the best system, but for the time being, with this type of coupler on this tender, this will not really work very well unless you wish to have it in the locked position all the time. So in order to get this out of here, it's really a process of dismantling this tender quite substantially, actually, because the access screws that hold the wheel chassis underneath the tender plate are hidden. There's two of them right there. They are loose. I've just left them in position, unbolted them so that they would come out of the top of this frame, like I said, that contains the wheels. And there's also another set back here where the speakers are, and you have to physically move the speakers to get the access to those two back in there, which I'm trying to show you. Anyway, then on top of that, they had the wiring for the coupler sandwiched between the mounting plate and the back of the circuit board here, so you have to loosen the circuit board to get that out, because you can't really, you could cut these wires, but I don't want to damage this piece of equipment. And on top of that, to get that out, you have to take out a circuit board which unplugs from one side of the tender back on this piece over here. So now I'm about to remove this coupler. To do that, I have to take out this cotter pin, C-clip, C-clip, which would allow me to do that. Then I'm going to be able to look at this thing and decide whether I can make a copy shaft to mount an American Flyer coupler on here. The process would take a machine shop. However, I'm hoping I can talk to somebody who can make such things, and I want to get the dimensions and actual size of this thing for that purpose. Okay, this is the American Flyer big boy coupler, and I'm actually calling this a Lionel coupler. That's what it is. It's a magnetic operated coupler. This has been separated from the tender, hoping to possibly get some kind of replacement mounting that I can install the appropriate American Flyer coupler on here. This being the coupler for the American Flyer equipment that I have. It's a mechanical coupler, and it's about the same size as the one that Lionel uses on this engine. It's just that the Lionel coupler will not open, and because of that, it isn't functional. The shaft of this Lionel coupler mounting is over 1 inch long, at least to the point where you need to mount the American Flyer coupler on there. Okay, I'm going to use this wood stock to form a shaft to mount an American Flyer coupler. I'm going to use the hole. This, I think, is a coupler from a diesel, to stick a pin, which would be a screw and a nut, on there to facilitate attachment. I like the idea of using this wood stock. It's just a piece of pine, I believe, because I can easily file and cut it, whereas with metal's more expensive, and sometimes it doesn't work as well as with tools as you'd want it to, at least in terms of ease. Okay, using a drill with a drill bit, a grinder wheel, and a square file, I was able to manufacture this coupler setup to replace the Lionel coupler that goes with this big boy. It mounts on this shaft here. I'm going to see how it looks. I think I'm going to paint that pine a black so that it doesn't show. I used a screw through the coupler mounted at the bottom, and it's fairly tight up against the coupler shaft, so it's not going to come loose, but it has play to it. So we'll see how that looks. This is a test mounting of this coupler. Appears we have a pretty good setup here. This is the finished product for this big boy coupler after I painted this with some flat black. This is the new American Flyer style knuckle coupler installed on the back of this big boy tender. Appears to be very functional. Okay, this is the finished appearance of the American Flyer coupler. It's mounted onto the big boy engine.